Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears Pro League. Today, you got to deal with myself and PR as we're going to be bringing you guys all the action as we're entering another day in our Pro League. Day number 6, if I'm not mistaken. Nonetheless, it's going to be a good showing. And Jay said, oh, day number 8. We're in week 4, okay? Time flies by really fast. Jacob, how you been?
I'm definitely been doing good, and I agree with you. Time flies when you're having fun, Blaze. And I think this season, I've been having some of the most fun ever. We have some of these middle-of-the-pack teams stepping it up, our top dogs stepping it up. What's not to love about Gears Esports right now?
Exactly. What is not to love about Gears Esports? All of our squads have been putting on amazing performances, and we've seen some close games. And so let's get you guys up to date on what those scores were in yesterday's Pro League match. And the one that stands out amongst all the rest of them, which was a banger of a series, United versus Team Queso. The executions and the escalations all go to the final rounds. And Team Queso had it down to a 2v2 with a guy down on the other team, but they couldn't close it out, Jacob.
Yeah, those are those big moments that you really have to step up. And in United, man, they're at the top of the food chain for a reason. Powers, this season, I think Powers is playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I think it showed in a lot of their matchups this season, but that was a close one. That was a really great matchup to watch from my end. I didn't have to worry about casting it. I got to enjoy it like a viewer, like the rest of the people out there, and I was definitely entertained.
Yeah, I was entertained as well. You know, I know Colin, we was listening to him watch that, and he was going through it, okay? I thought he was looking at the coach's notepad, was like, I thought they were going to run play 2. Or run a sneak or something. He was all kind of invested in that series. Now, rightfully so, because E United, they're at the top of the standings, and they have worked hard to get there. But today, they're going to be going up against Rise, and we'll show you those in a second for today's broadcast schedule. But so far, when you see places 1 through 4, it's only one loss there. We can see those standings shift up at any given time throughout this week or going into next week. So that's going to be exciting when it comes down to those matchups. But we'll take a look at today's broadcast schedule in a second, Jacob, because as I said, and I kind of alluded to it, United versus Rise, I know for a fact that's going to be in our last slot of the day, and you guys do not want to miss out on that one. But before, and to kick off our broadcast, we got Fury 1 Esports going up against Team Queso, and then Rebel up against the Pioneers. How you feel about this?
This is a pay-per-view style matchup, Blaze. As we get closer and closer to the major, these are the matchups that I want to see. Fury 1, that young team that comes out of the gate hot. It's just unfortunate they can't close out the series. Very, very similar to Team Queso. They aren't able to close out those series, but if yesterday shows anything, they're definitely improving week after week. Rebel versus Pioneers, former champions versus Rebel, the squad that is surprising teams week after week. And El Clasico, Rise versus E United. Both only one loss this season. I think it was to the Pittsburgh Knights. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they definitely have a lot to prove to themselves as being that #1 team, or at least the possibility of it.
They do got a lot to prove, and the rivalries on this team are a lot different than what it used to be, but both these squads want to knock each other's heads off, and I cannot wait until we get into that last series. But first, we're going to have to worry about, well, not worry, okay? We get a chance to enjoy Fury 1 versus Team Queso, as that's about to come up next. And so that's about to come up here next. And so when it comes down to that series right there, Fury 1, this is going to be like a must win for them, all right? Because we saw those standings earlier. They're a little bit towards the bottom, and Team Queso, they're rising up in those standings as well. They're going to have to this is a must win. It's as simple as that, okay? And there's a few players who got to step up. We'll talk about them here in a second as we kind of really dive into this one. But let's break down our rosters first, and let's talk about this Fury 1 roster, all right?
Let's talk about it. We got Last, we got Aimboot, we got Jaled, and Ventry. A lot of people might not know about this squad and how they came to be, but they're definitely learning this season. Like I said, when they come out of the gate, maps #1, they're usually surprising a lot of these teams. They're coming out aggressive. They're taking their numbers advantage. They're staggering out their opponent. Just I feel like they don't have that experience to close out the series. So in this matchup, I'm going to be looking for one of these guys in particular to really step up and take the reins, take control of the team, and figure out where you want to put the troops.
Now I'm with you on that one. And so when it comes down to the squad, Jaled, he has been a superstar here. He has been the one making a lot of big plays for him. And the player that needs to step up has to be last move, or this may be one of his last times in a pro league. So we'll see if he can show up here today. Now, let's talk about Team Queso. All right, because we watched them put on a show last night up against E United. This team consisting of Chavii, Cristalize, Problem, and you know him and you love him. It's Big Sleeafer himself. And I gotta call him Big Sleeafer, Jacob, okay? Because yesterday, when he picked up that scope, when he had to make the plays for this team to keep them in this series, no matter what the weapon was, he was hitting shots.
I mean, that's something that you can kind of know Sleeper to be. I think since he started off Gears of War 5 with that Ghost Gaming roster back at E-League, he really shown so much improvement from Gears of War 4, and he continues to show that improvement. He's one of the few players that day in and day out, no matter if it's scrim or rank matches, he's putting the time in. He's streaming it. He's making sure to not only practice the actual gameplay, but practice the pressure of having the eyes on. The Sleeper is one of those players that you can be proud of to have by your side.
Ooh, I love how you said that. Not just practicing the gameplay, but practicing the pressure situations, okay? Always being in front of the fans, always trying to be the hero for the squad. And he embodies that, and that's something that he don't mind doing for the fans out there, okay? Sleeper, he'll get it done. You're looking at his stats, and the one that stands out to me, overall kill participation, 8th in the league, and hey, when it comes down to it, that's a stat that embodies him. Just because the simple fact is that Sleeper is always shooting, okay? He's always there supporting his teammates. And when you think about the 40 lethal players that we actually have in our league, 8th, that's not a bad position to be in. Now, let's talk about our map cycle between both these teams. This Fury 1 going up against Team Queso. Regency Control will be map number 1. Execution Checkout map number 2. Vasgar is going to be the Escalation. And at the back end of the cycle, we got Ritual Control and then Tomb Execution. Jacob, how you feeling about this cycle? I will say right off the bat, Fury 1 did get their best control map to get this one kicked off on.
Yeah, you and I kind of seeing that same thing. Regency Control, when I talked about those early starts, taking teams by surprise, it comes on Regency Control. So if Fury 1 can replicate that, come out the gate swinging, figure out a way to close out map number 1, no matter what happens in map number 2 on checkout, because it is Team Queso's pick. It's a map we've seen them pick quite a bit this split. It could at very worst be 1-1, but you take that momentum after a big map number 1 victory, we can see upset potential. It's maps number 3, maps number 4 and 5 that I think lean a little bit more into that Team Queso favor. The more it does go to the distance, having that endurance, having that leader in Crystallize and Sleeafer, who have seen everything in the books when it comes to Gears of War 5, to be able to have something to plan against it. So then at that point, you'd just be riding on fumes, riding on momentum. And against Team Queso, who has momentum of their own, that's why I think it's going to be hard to beat once the later maps come into this play.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And so that actually kind of goes into it that Fury 1 early on in this cycle, maps 1 and 2, they got the most wins on Regency Control and they got the most wins on Checkout Execution, okay? So they really have to start this series off right, perform at the best in which they can if they want to get ahead in this series and at least have Team Queso's back up against the wall, because they're coming off a series yesterday that's giving them a lot of confidence, okay? A lot of confidence. Now, let's go into our predictions. And Jacob, I'll kick this one off with that. With everything I just said there, with Team Queso coming off that well, it was a loss against E United, but it was a loss that showed us that hey, they can play up there. Now, I think Team Queso can take this series. I think they could take it up against Fury 1. Fury 1, they need to start the show off with a bang, all right? And I don't know if they're ready for that spotlight just yet. And I need Last Move to step up as well and perform for this team. If they can do those two, they got a chance in the series, but I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They definitely have a tall task ahead of them. Fury 1, like I keep saying over and over, they come out the gate swinging in a lot of their matchups. They take teams to the distance on that map number 1, but it's usually when they fall short, they get down on themselves. I think after a few weeks, after a few big matches, Fury 1 can kind of take control of the series, but the thing about Team Queso is they're just as hungry. They're just as resilient. And after yesterday's matchup, it's hard to bet against them. And today, I'm all about my money. I'm all about that cheddar. I got Team Queso taking this series, possibly 3-1. 3-2 at the worst. But I think we could possibly see a 3-0 if Fury One doesn't replicate that coming out of the gate swinging style of play that we've seen all season long.
Agree. We're on the same page, okay? They got to start off ferocious if they want to be able to take down Team Queso. Now, chat, how do you feel like this series is going to go? You going with Big Cheese or you going with the ferocious Fury One? Which is going to be? It's Big Queso, all right? All right, Team Queso, we're all in your corner. We'll see if you can get it done. But hey, it's time for me and Jacob to break down the action. It's time to kick off Gears Pro League day number 8. We hope you guys at home are all having a fantastic time as we head into map number 1. It's Regency Control. Jacob, take us away.
You guys know it as well as I do. On Regency, you see a big battle towards Rhodes Garden or the actual hill. A possible 1v1 towards the inside for frag grenades, Embar, depending on how that fight goes. But we're going to jump on board the big 3v3 frame. Problem goes down first. Jaled, a player that you spoke about, a player to watch in this series, is going to go ahead and get first blood. Chavii goes down as well to Aimboot. Nobody getting eliminated just yet, but Cristalize gets another trade. So even though early on we see a big mess, back and forth trades, it's Fury One who come out the gate with the position.
Yeah, Fury One had a great initial right there. Big kills coming out from Jaled. That's going to be the main slayer here for the squad. We'll see who's going to be his help today to try to pull out this victory. Team Queso gearing up for that second team fight. And they got some good damage out on Fury One for now, keeping these players' heads down. But Jaled wins a big 1v1 up against Chavii. That's going to give him positioning to be able to get the Embar. And Ventry gets the triple nade. He says, you know what? Speaking of positioning, let me make sure I take care of the whole squad.
And you see everybody disperse out on towards your mini-map. Go ahead and fight for that next position. Jaled is going to position with that Embar. Aimboot needs to be careful here because he is definitely a target since he is caught in no man's land by himself. He definitely didn't get the memo to rotate over. That's going to be the window of opportunity for Team Queso, but Jaled gets another one onto Chavii. Teamwork from last move are going to take out another one to keep it in their favor, which is huge because they did lose that player, Aimboot, early on.
All right, now Fury One with the power weapons in hand. Aimboot's off the respawn, got some good damage on Chavii. He wants to challenge this fight, but Chavii already got his health back, and he's gonna call for reinforcements. So you still will have a man advantage for Team Queso. Up to Jaled Connect with the Embar shot. Sees 3 players in front of him. The smoke is gonna block his right, but backing down. A flash too far over the top. He misses the back A. This is be a great time for that Embar, Jacob, but he says, you know what? The shotty will get it done as he connects on the headshot with Chavii. There for the revive on his teammate. Ooh, 1 for the Sleeafer. But for the Fury One fans, they are rejoicing.
That moment you thought Sleeafer was going to be able to step up big. Gets caught on the reload, though. This is where Team Queso is going to put themselves into a pickle. You contest this 30 seconds to not get themselves that much lead as Jaled connects yet again. 7-1 off to a hot start as we know they can be. Or do you try to set up for the positioning? Sleeafer finally gets that elimination. Problem gets taken down going for those frag grenades. Got to wonder if they're still in play. It looks like he did go down with them as everybody rotating around the map. And it looks like Team Queso, they're just going to spread themselves thin. Fury One, if they play them cards right, they're going to rotate towards the actual hill location and be able to defend it against Team Queso.
And Fury One has made it there for now, but this is where they're slow, okay? They have to understand that they have the numbers. I think they may have gotten nades, but they need to use this time a little bit better trying to take that high ground back from Team Queso, but they're content with having a low ground, and we'll see if they regret that move or not, because they have to deal with the Embar in Sleeafer's hand. As he's raining hellfire down from above, connects with 1 shot on last move. That's gonna get the first kill. Jaled comes in and help, but he can't make it up the stairs. And that is an easy defense coming out from Team Queso. And it's all because Fury One did not capitalize on their advantage with rotating early and having that extra guy.
Yeah, they needed to get deep in towards the spawn. It seems like as soon as they got onto the hill, they were content. They got they're fighting for it, but it's the
They didn't get
positioning,
nothing.
yeah, that matters the most of all, especially when Team Queso was able to kind of go in and brush them off quickly. Flash grenades not going out. It's only going to be a smoke, which isn't going to stop problems from dishing out that Lancer fire. Cristalize with a great flank. Great shots from Chavii as well. Just as quick as they try to enter that hill, they were taken out. 30 seconds left. Fury 1, you know, they're not going to contest this hill. They're going to try to rotate on over towards next. Last move, Blaze. You asked him specifically to step it up. I think when it comes to damage, he's putting all the support he can.
Yeah, he definitely is. We saw in that last team fight, Fury 1, they tried to approach it from the same angle once again. Granted, they probably couldn't do much about that, but as they have rotated towards P3, they get into this engagement a little bit earlier than they did before, and they're able to win the first team fight, Jacob. We'll see if they can make up for some of that lost time in P2, where Team Queso completely outplayed them. Now we'll see how Team Queso wants to contest this middle hill. They are choosing to rotate here from Fountain side and that Cog side of the map, so they can have the spawns for next in case these fights don't go their way. And those type of next level moves is what's gonna get you a chip one day. That will have you contending against the best teams in our league. You gotta be thinking ahead of the game on every single hill.
Yeah, you obviously got to keep thinking 2 steps ahead, possibly even 3, depending on how far of a hole that you do put yourself in as Team Queso. They're trying to defend 3 straight eliminations. Ventry, he's going to dodge those frags, but he cannot stop just yet. He's going to have to turn into Neo from the Matrix, but he gets shut down by Chavii. Another big and important team fight from Team Queso, because they have started the game about 17 to 96 after 2 hills, put themselves into a hole, and that's a great start that we know Fury 1 to have. But Team Queso, after yesterday's match, they have to prove that it wasn't just a fluke taking United to the wire. They have to prove they are here to stay, and a great defensive opportunity from Cristalize, revving up that M-bar. Not going to be able to connect just yet, but Chavii and Sleeafer, they both get 2. They're trying to go ahead and brute force their way towards the back on the side of Fury 1, but they're continuously dropping players like flies. It's problems, and Sleeafer will get the remaining 2 players forced to rotate on over to the other side of the map.
Ooh-wee, you know, and if it's the one thing that we're seeing, you know, outside of the initial start of this map, you know, Team Queso, they got a better game plan when it comes down to rotation. They have a little bit better focus than Fury 1 on how they want to take these fights. And it's been paying off for them. Also, you know, in the late game, their retakes have, their defensive setups have been a lot better than Fury 1's as well. So we'll see if Fury 1 can make it up these stairs. They're approaching once again from the same side as they did P2. Smokes go down towards the back. They got to play with their right hand towards the edge. Last move goes down. The revive is there. And now, so Fury 1's going to back up out of here, Jacob. They'll be okay for now, but when it comes down to Team Queso, they're trying to push into the fight, get these kills. Chavii get and take it out. And Fury 1 will be able to drop back Team Queso for now. And they will keep an extra guy alive in this fight and find themselves a few extra kills here on the outskirts.
Maybe they'll finish that one off onto Cristalize, but frag grenades in the hands of Jaled is going to be proven to be difficult here. They have to be able to watch him out, or at least know in the back of the head. First one coming through, second one dished out. There goes a grenade to connect, but he takes out his teammate as well. Double kill so far for Jaled. Shotgun already being put to work, but big shot from Cristalize. He goes on the offensive to take out Jaled. 30 seconds as your reward if you can take out this next one onto Aimboot, but it's not going to be over. You see Ventry with a cross over the top. The close spawn went to Fury 1, so the battle's not going to be over just yet. They're trying to get this scrap time. At the end of the day, Blaze, it's just that. No matter who comes victorious, they're going to have to disperse outward, and it is Fury 1. They win battles all over the map. They get the M-bar as well, but Team Queso, they have a few seconds to take advantage of these numbers.
We'll see if they can do that. They have to push through Jaled in his M-bar. He hits for 2 shots, gives his teammates the marks that they need to Lancer through the smoke. Trying to connect with the third, but he has to drop back a bit. Here comes Team Queso. Sorry, here comes Fury 1. Knowing that they have that man advantage, it's going to be a 3v3 fight for now, as Team Queso able to pick up 2 kills. But once the dust is settled, it's going to be Fury 1 left in the hill. Team Queso, they will get those lower spawns towards gold, towards statue, and that's something that's going to benefit them a lot, as you see the entire squad already back into the fight. But this is going to be geared up as another 4v4 battle as both teams are set up.
A well-placed flash, stopping the push from Team Queso. So their numbers advantage in that moment was neutralized, but not anymore. Aimboot goes down. Problems over the top. Only gets the down. Quickly revive back up from last moves, and Fury 1 are finding a way to defend yet again. 45 seconds up for grabs. Once more, though, it's Team Queso who get that low and quick spawn. They have to strike fast, though, Blaze, because if they don't, they're just giving up all that time to Fury 1, who's already going to be over that 200-point mark.
Oh, now Fury 1, they've been doing a great job keeping the lead throughout the entirety of this map. They haven't gave it back to Team Queso. Even though they've lost some of these team fights here towards the late game, they made sure that they didn't give up much. Now, Team Queso, they're going to take back the rest of what they can here at this fight. They'll be cleaning up that scrap time on couches. It's only 15 seconds. Now, Sleeafer will get himself in position at the next hill. Nades in the hands of Jaled. What do you want to do with him? Most likely, Sleeafer's going to get cut off, pushed into a corner to the point where last move can cross him out. Gonna open him up. Little counter nade. Gonna push him out into the open. He gets taken out. Cristalize is gonna be rotating his M-bar downstairs. For now, Fury 1 is able to utilize their numbers and clean up this hill and force Team Queso to have to reset.
Perfect execution by Fury 1, giving up that M-bar to try to get the points on the hill. Now you have to try to defend it. That's gonna be a big fight from Aimboot, because now they're gonna have that extra angle, extra chance here. V4v5. Last move finds one onto Sleeafer as well. Cristalize and Chavii, they're filling rush plays, but I like the idea. I like the play to back up. Allow your teammates to respawn and get in position, but that pick is going to open up wonders, but they go down. Both of those players go down. Ventry and last move make such a massive impact to keep Fury 1 ahead.
Now, you're going to see Fury 1 still buckled down in his heel. That's a good flank coming out from Aimboot. That's one down. A lot of damage on Sleeafer. The double revive is there. Quick pistol flip. A lot of damage output coming out here from Aimboot, but the kills revive. You see how that damage is quickly negated by that close quarters gameplay here from Team Queso, and they aren't able to win the battle that they need to on the hill to start collecting time. And they're going to leave Aimboot on this side of the map by himself and start rotating the next.
Aimboot has to start thinking about rotation as well. As you see in your minimap, he is going to do exactly that. 3v3 on the other side of the map. You see Sleeafer is trying to play man-to-man. He needs to figure out where Aimboot went. I want to guess there was a cross happening in towards the middle, but a 2v2 towards the backside. It's Team Queso who take the brunt of that damage. Last move is trying to seal the deal, and he does. With a little help from Ventry, they find two players of Team Queso slipping. Jaled finds one of his own. They're trying to block that lower portion. With elimination onto Sleeafer, they will be successful on wiping the entirety of Team Queso on this next rotation with 75 seconds up for grabs plays. This is 100% winnable with all the momentum on the side of Fury 1.
Oh, 100% winnable indeed. 60 points remaining on this hill, currently contested by Team Queso, but two nade kills coming out from Jaled. You're going to see the shot grenade get the down on Cristalize. He's cleaned up. Chavii's trying to walk away with his M-bar, but they will not let him get this for free. He may be able to sneak it away. His teammates will be off the respawn right away. They spawn up at couches, back into the fight. Now, can Chavii connect with this M-bar? 5 shots remaining. Can't find anyone. His teammates taking a lot of damage. He's there for the revive, but they will lose Cristalize, Problem, and Sleeafer. That's a team wipe. Fury 1 holds on to it, and there is plenty of time left in this hill to win.
Luckily for Team Queso, they get blessed with that lower spawn, but that's due to Aimboot. He was in towards the middle. He caused that spawn to come out as an angle onto Chavii. Maybe this one was planned to perfection. Cristalize goes down. They're trying to get in the hill. They have less than 5 seconds. That's going to be two players to contest. Problem's the last one standing. He gets taken out, and so does Team Queso. Fury 1 has come to play today. They strike hot. They strike fast, taking map number 1.
They ain't playing around, Jacob, all right? Striking hot and striking fast indeed. Jaled on top, 23, 11, and 10. You don't want to play with him. That's about a positive 3.0 KDA, okay? Up there, 3 point something, regardless. He played out of his mind. Now, Fury 1, as we head into this next map on execution, they're going to have to stay playing at this pace, Jacob, okay? And we will say this too as well. You know, Regency remains their best control map here for the squad. All right. So so far the game plan has been working out for
It
them.
almost makes me wonder what's getting banned away against this Fury One roster where Regency is consistently kind of slipping through the cracks. Maybe the teams want to switch it up, but maybe that map could be worse, Blaze. I don't know. I'm not scrimming against these hungry young guns who are trying to make a name for themselves throughout this split of Gears Esports because this is their
Mhm.
first time as this roster in the Pro League. That's why I kind of take that first season, the first split, whatever it may be, as the split of learning. And Blaze, they're learning fast.
They don't have much time left they don't have much time left until we can get towards the major. So gotta keep continuing to make this progress. Now, both our squads here since the Pro League has started has made a good amount. I think Team Queso has made more progress out of the two from when we saw them start off to how we've seen them kind of play as late. But you know, Fury One, still they've been getting better. I just think that they started off in the league a little bit better than Team Queso. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll see how they continue to progress on forward. But now, as we talk about Fury One a little bit more too as well, Jaled was the top performer here for the squad. And in last move, I talked about how he had to have a better performance. He stepped up as well. What do you think that Team Queso actually did here to, you know, get back into this game? What did they mess up at?
It just seemed like they were playing catch up a lot of the time. They were fighting for scrap time. They get a few seconds here and there. But Fury One, they kept aggressive meta in mind. They were constantly pushing the tempo. They were constantly pushing a lot of these hills. They were giving up that scrap time, moving over to next to give them the best chances. Sometimes they might not have been successful, but then they spawn up before that hill rotates and they get that second chance to go ahead and do it yet again. That's something that we've seen pioneers really kind of take note of and really kind of set the blueprint of when they kind of had that road towards their champion. Now, Fury One is taking that blueprint and making it their own. And if you're a team like Team Queso and you have such a big matchup yesterday against United, our top team in the league, according to the standings, you sometimes might go ahead and enter this matchup down on yourselves. You might go ahead and think that maybe yesterday you put everything on the line, you kind of gassed yourselves out. But in this matchup, you have to figure out a way to get refreshed. And right now, playing from behind is not going to be the answer. You got to start creating these perfect opportunities. And I think execution is perfect. As we move on over to checkout, that allows you round after round, throw different strats out. Even if the strat is still a 3-1, it allows you to change up the focus a little bit so that way you can catch your opponent off guard.
Now, I feel like the real series is about to start now. And Fury One, so far, their game plan has worked out. They got map number 1. They're about to head into their best execution map 2 as well when it comes down to the Pro League standings. Team Queso, though, they had their success on execution, escalation, and that was it yesterday. They got their butt kicks on a control. Granted, the first control, they did have about 220 points on them, and they want to say they blew that lead too as well in that first map. But this is going to be their best game mode, I feel like, for Team Queso, and we know how good they are when it comes down to playing up on that platform and getting the sleeper, that sniper out wide. So we'll see if they can get the series all tied up 1-1. I think they definitely got a good chance, but Fury One, they know what we're talking about, right? They know how Team Queso feels going into this map. They need to take it up another, shift gears up one more time, and do not get complacent off that first map win. They need a 2-0 up in this series so they can be able to, you know, have that space to close this one out against Team Queso.
Yeah, exactly that. I think you hit the nail on the head, Blaze, because we talked about it. Those last 3 maps number 3, 4, and 5 in this cycle, they kind of favor Team Queso more. So what you want to do is soften them up, beat them up a little bit. And even if you don't necessarily take this map victory, you want to take it to the distance, make him second guess himself. Best case scenario, exactly what you said. You go up 2-0, you give yourself a cushion to close out that series. If maybe escalation isn't at map number 3, you know how dangerous you could be on control. Map number 4, if you take this one, you know how dangerous you could already be on execution. I think right now, this series is Fury One's to win.
All right, Fury One, you're up 1-0 in this series. Let's see what you're gonna do now in map number 2 against the Team Queso. When it comes down to checkout execution, they don't play around. But Fury One says, don't worry, Blaze, we don't play around either. They come out with the first 2 kills and actually make that a Team White. His problems, he trapped in the corner. He can't do anything.
Yeah, looking at that one, they almost like they knew exactly what the strategy was. dodging the early flashes, waiting for them to go in. Because of the smoke, you can't see them necessarily hop up into plat, and then that's when they went back to the scene of the crime to strike and get those eliminations. Unfortunately, Sleeafer unable to put that instant to use fast enough to at least get a trade. So for Team Queso, you're gonna have to start thinking a little bit more aggressive if this round is not successful.
All right, Aimboot playing a secondary. The stuns from his teammate will connect. Gets him a little bit of damage, but he'll move forward. Takes a lot of damage from that back pillar, and you see Cristalize and Chavii on the platform pick up 2 with ease. So it was designed to get some damage in on those platform players from the side of Fury 1. It didn't work out for him. It was Team Queso who put out more damage in that round and took it over.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, it's where you can go in execution and run very, very similar strats with subtle changes. Team Queso went into plat yet again, but they changed it up, baiting the players of Fury 1 to try to get aggressive. This time around, Sleeafer, they late flash to the other side, back to back, trying to take control, be the guardian angel for his team, and that's where the communication is going to come in, but maybe a little too late. Chavii goes down trying to protect. The revive towards the plat side is going to be successful, but what can they make of it? Sleeafer exits the plat, gets 1. Instance unable to connect, but Sleeafer's trying to strike, do everything he can. He gets 2, but now he has 2 more players in front of him. He's going to need to be able to get the ace in order to be successful in this round. Flash grenade going out to try to create that separation, but the damage from Ventry, 2 quick shots as he backs up to end Sleeafer's run.
Yeah, and good job there coming out there from Fury 1. It almost kind of got scary to him for a second, because after Aimboot cleaned up that kill on Chavii, that was a great down from them. He took a little bit too long to kind of realize where the next 2 players were on that platform to his left, and he almost went down because of it. I think he did go down because of it. With that being said, Fury 1 up 2-1. We on board with Aimboot again as he's playing inside the secondary. A decent shot on Chavii, but he sees the ones out wide, so he'll play out as far as he can. Then Incineroar's picked up by Sleeafer. He'll get a good one on top of that platform. 4v1 situation, all up to Ventry. Finds 2 in a flashy way, but that's all he's gonna get. All tied up 2-2.
Team Queso need to figure out a way to get a little bit aggressive, and they did exactly that. They're baiting these young players in one by one. Last couple rounds, I want to see Aimboot maybe try to, not Aimboot, but the entire roster, play a little bit towards wide, go towards the mid lane. Don't give up those instants easy, and if you do, you got to make sure at least get the sniper, get control of the back lane for that, and try to slow it down. Make Team Queso make a mistake, because right now Sleeafer's getting in almost uncontested each and every time.
And each and every time, and you see how he picks him up, backs up right away. A little bit of damage there, and Sleeafer's gonna throw 1 nade to get the pressure off the back lane, but both nades come up a bit short. It still will be able to open it up for him to go wide a bit. Now the rest of his squad, they're gonna start getting picked apart. It's 3-3, all evened up here, and Team Queso did a good job finding the kill there towards the inside.
A little bit of damage with that Lancer. He's gonna push. It's taken out though. Sleeafer just a second too long before that push came in, allowing to regenerate health at the last second. Man, Sleeafer's just one bad man. Week after week, I feel like he's making highlight play after highlight play.
I agree with you. You know, he's starting to up his gameplay as we get closer towards the major, and you know, Sleeafer has always been a top echelon player in our league, and I'm happy to see him still perform at this level, because not everybody can keep up as long as he's kept up with the league. Now he's on his platform. Smoke's gonna go out. He'll get protected there by Cristalize, and they'll be able to work together to take down Jaled. Last move next on the hit list, and Ventry, he's dead as well. That's a team wipe. Team Queso go up 4-2.
I feel like after 3 consecutive round wins by Team Queso, Fury 1 might be out of ideas. They might be out of strategies to kind of counteract this, but I don't want them to give up hope. You can kind of go back to that 3-1. You know they're going in towards plat side. Like I said, get a down, get free frag grenades. There's so much more you can do. I want to see them utilize the strategy, utilize the round by round breaks that they're going to get, but it's Team Queso who are now switching it up, trying to keep things going. Flash grenade from across the map from Cristalize. Frag grenades are going to pick it up. Look at Team Queso playing back. They're trying to utilize that big power weapon grab in the frags.
Yeah, and Cristalize trying not to waste his last name, but that's a good one. He got a down, multiple bodies there. They'll be able to get one of those kills, but you see pressure coming in from Jaled on the flank. He's able to find two. Now a 2v1 for Team Queso. Last move, last standing. No power weapon behind him, it is, but he won't be able to get it. He'll have to deal with these incineraries. Can't go back to the left. He will bait out the second nade, but in the end, it's Team Queso 1 round away from getting the series all tied up 1-1.
Obviously keeping things guessing. Even though the frag grenade didn't connect, it stopped them from being able to get aggressive towards that back lane. They all had to disperse to try to stay alive and take as little damage as possible. So great heads up play, great heads up strat call overall by Team Queso, winning 3 straight rounds and not being afraid to keep your opponent guessing.
Yeah, they did a good job being patient and waiting for the nades to get on over there. And like you said, keeping their opponent guessing. They're going to run a nade strat again and play a passive. Cristalize, where does he want to place this first nade? Still has 2 to work with, gets a little bit too close. That first one's going to miss. The second one may get something. That cuts off the teammates and allows Sleeafer to get 3. As that's Team Queso locking in map number 2 in a 6-2 fashion with that back-to-back nade strat on the last 2 rounds. And Fury 1, they didn't see it coming. Team Queso, man, they set the trap, and whew, that was a sticky situation for Fury 1 to come up out of. Now, we're all tied up 1-1 as we head into the escalation. We'll see who can get the lead in this series. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, it's map number 3 on Vasgar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Pro League. We are all tied up 1-1. It's Fury 1 up against Team Queso. We're about to head into map number 3. But the tale of this series so far has been Fury 1 being better at the respawns and having that teamwork over a longer duration versus Team Queso. Off these initials and execution, Jacob, they're getting the big plays in which they need, and they're using that speed to close out these rounds and got them back into the series.
Yeah, I think Fury 1, when it comes to map number 1, a lot of the cycles, especially onto Regency, is take a moment here and appreciate Sleeafer's basically that 3-piece kill to end that last one. But Fury 1, they come out of the gate swinging. They catch their opponents off guard. Very, very similar to what Elevate did last split, taking teams by surprise, getting those early wins to start off the season. We're talking about them starting to a perfect 4-0. Fury 1, even though they're not starting 4-0, they're taking very, very similar attributes. They're taking teams by surprise who may be sleeping on them, who then in maps number 2, maps number 3 begin to wake up. They realize this team is aggressive. They have to go ahead and play them to the full potential that they play anybody else. And then that's when the series takes a turn. And that's already you see such a massive differential there on execution, because instead of being able to stagger out your opponents with your slaying ability, it was round after round. Team Queso spawning back up, throwing one trick after another, even switching up strategies after 3 consecutive round wins. That is how you do it for a team with the experience like Team Queso.
And then for Fury 1, you know, if they can find themselves up in multiple series like this, and then if we're saying that the tale of the tape is that these squads are starting to wake up around maps 2 and 3 and give it everything that they got and come out on top of these series, well, Fury 1 needs to know how to play with a lead, okay? And they showed us that in that first map, okay? They was able to close out that control, but from a greater scale and going into the rest of the multiple game modes, Fury 1 needs to show that, hey, once we have our pressure on our opponent, we know how to slowly add more pressure, not give up those advantages to close out the series. And we'll see if they can do that and keep the pressure on Team Queso by winning this escalation and getting out on top first with one of these with this early round number 1, as we're watching Jaled be able to pick up a kill there on Chavii. Problems will be able to trade him out, and Fury 1 makes it a 2v2. They're going to be able to get their B hill back, but they need to get that home hill.
Aimboot saw his teammate went down. He just left out. He didn't even say anything. He just dipped out of there. Live to fight another day. Let's see if it's going to work out for them, though. 3v2 opportunity. Late rotation coming in from Chavii. That's not going to stop Cristalize from getting that first elimination onto Jaled. Back-to-back with some help to solidify the other elims on the other side of the map, though. Sleeafer versus Ventry. Sleeafer can go ahead and push it. We know how top dog he can be getting that down, but he wanted to wait for that cross from Chavii over the top. He's going ahead and bleeding them dry, getting that extra time. The reason why is because he knew he didn't get the triple cap domination. Great communication to start the game from TQ.
Yeah, that was good. And you know, after they was able to get the home hill, they rotate to B, they secure the hill, they drop back, they make sure that their home hill is going to be fortified as well. They're trying to defend against a three-man push with the little high ground that they have on top of the stairs, but this angle, it will do a lot. It's Ventry with a cross from the other side of the map that's making this fight a little bit more difficult for the side of Team Queso. Fury won. They didn't play off that aggressiveness because that's when they had to go. When Ventry had that cross on the side, that would have been a perfect distraction, but they will now make that engagement, create the engagement. Cristalize will be able to trade out Jaled. Aimboot finds a kill as well. It's going to be a 2v1 situation where Team Queso will be able to successfully defend. And now they can push out and find a little bit more real estate, start playing for the C hill or the B hill, and I think it's going to be B.
Ventry, he tried. I got to give him credit. He did try to rotate over to be the help that they need. Now he has to try to stay alive. He spots out 3 players. Hopefully he made that call to his team to go ahead and try to rotate on the other side of the map. They do, but Jaled, he gets too far ahead of himself. He goes down. Now Ventry knows this has to be something. They go ahead and stand here on both sides of the map. Last move goes down, and that's the last move your Fury won in this round. Regardless of what happens here on the neutral hill, it looks like Sleeafer wants to end it with a bang, getting a double kill with the help of Cristalize. But I was just saying, no matter what happened, Fury 1 cannot be in 2 places at once. That's going to be a great start for Team Queso, building off that momentum from checkout.
Yeah, that's a great start for them. You know, Fury 1, they had an opportunity to close out that round number 1. You know, and that was when they had their opponent press back on their home hill, that long range cross from Ventry. That's when they kind of had to utilize their numbers and not allow their opponent to reset. And I noticed that about when it comes down to some of our mid-tier teams and lower tier teams, the amount of time in which it takes them to get on the same page. Okay, at this level, it should be instinctive on what's the best play that you need to make and who's in the best position to make that and who needs to support that player. The quicker you can get to making those decisions, the quicker you are able to make best use of your numbers advantage. If not, you know, the boys at the top, they'll be blocking off those advantages left and right, closing out those gaps in the lane when you think that you just made a play if you cannot react fast enough. So we'll see if Fury 1 can kind of speed up their reactions against Team Queso, as they currently have that home hill setup that they want. It's a great start for now, but as you see that they're getting pressured in the back, Jacob.
Okay, so they're getting ready to attack 2 places at once. They don't want to allow somebody to kind of backtrack in their steps and help either fight, so it's going to be a 2v2 going down simultaneously. Sleeafer's trying to go wide. He loses Chavii. He goes down quick. Force chain revives to come out. Team Queso is going to survive from now. Chavii goes down again. Problems is trying to find something on the other side of the map, and Cristalize and Problems, they win that one fight, but now it's going to force Fury 1 to try to get aggressive so they can at least have some foot to stand on, and they do. They get aggressive at the perfect time to take out both Chavii and Sleeafer to at least hold on to one hill, but this is the Team Queso home side of the map, so the work is not done just yet. His last move, he cements 2 more eliminations. The tables have turned. Triple cap domination opportunity for Fury 1. Team Queso have to think of something. They go ahead and strike 2 players quick to that neutral since they have that numbers advantage to survive.
Ooh, they gotta think of something quick. Now, they're gonna be able to group up at the home hill. It's gonna be a 3v3 fight. That bull talk from Ventry, he knows that he got some pressure on these players and he's trying to add a little bit more on their backs, but Team Queso able to force back Fury 1 and get this home hill capped up again for them, and that's gonna give them a little sigh of relief, only momentarily. Now, Cristalize, sorry, it's gonna be Sleeafer on the flank. He's getting ready to kind of gear up and fight a 1v1. And with this down coming in on Jaled, you seen last move had to make a play, and he makes a big one, picks up 3 once his teammates go down. And wow, talk about rising to the occasion when your squad needs you the most.
Definitely gonna have his work cut out for him. Gonna have to go big neutral hill under pressure. Okay, so they go ahead and win their home back, but it's almost like hills over hills this late in the game. That's why they're not capturing just yet. Those Problems trying to get the information. Spot 3 players. He's going to backtrack. The play's going to be made first over here towards the neutral. Last move goes down. Gets it down onto Cristalize. Unable to get the connection. Sleeafer and Problems might have overstepped their welcome on the other side of the map, because with both of them going down, I think that gives the round over to Fury 1.
Man, Fury 1, they worked hard for this one, and it is going to give it on over to Fury 1. They did a good job early on winning first the 2v2 fight that they had on the top end of the map between the home hills. That got them in position to set themselves up for that got them in position to have to defend against the next fight that was coming their way from Team Queso, as they had 2 players on the flank, 2 players in the front. Fury One, once again, they do a successful job defending against the flank. They slow it down and they wait for the prime opportunity to get back to the home hill. But it was Last Move who made the move to keep this round in their favor. So we're all tied up 1-1. Heading into the next, we got Retro Lancers on the map for both these squads, and that's going to be able to give a few individuals and a little extra oomph behind that firepower to lock down these lines by themselves and give their teammates a little bit more time to take their number advantages on the other ends of the map.
Classic 3v3 that we've been seeing almost all game long. 1v1 on the other side of the map. Sleeafer versus Ventry, 2 big players for each one of these teams, but it's Sleeafer who gets that first blood. You got to think the other team, they're going to feel that pressure. Depending on where the damage is at, it looks like Team Queso are trying to get aggressive, but it's Last Move who takes out problems. Cristalize is going to fall shortly after. Chavii is trying to anchor the backside. Buy time for his team to come off spawn, but I don't know how much time he's realistically going to be able to buy, especially with the retro on his backside. That's going to be Aimboot, as Fury One solidifies the home hill of Team Queso.
And now Sleeafer's like, okay, well, I got mine. Now I'm just going to post up and try to support you guys from this side of the map. Oh, he's getting some good shots, some good marks on 3 players. No one's able to contest him just yet. His team needs to move off of this, and they will. So they're in position to take the 3v3 team fight. That's 2 kills down. They're looking for the 3rd, and they will be able to pick him up. Sleeafer stays alive on the opposite end of the map. He backs up, and now Team Queso, they get 2 heals back to their name, Jacob. And Sleeafer's gonna try to stay alive as long as he can. Oh, I thought he heard the player towards his right. Oh, almost came away with the kill, but that's gonna be Fury One able to get the decap on B, and they're gonna start playing some defense on their home hill.
Queso didn't at least try to get the decap to stop at least some points from being gamed in that moment. Cristalize gets one on the Aimboot. Last Move going a little bit too wide. He's going to fall to problems. 2v1 opportunity here if they want to take it. But going deep into spawn after you got those eliminations is a risky play. So they're going to choose to set up 3 players around it. Know a 3v3 is going to come through. Ventry's on the other side of the map, just getting information. If Sleeafer rotates over, you best believe he's going to try to match him. As Cristalize and Chavii get one yet again. Back to back. The hat trick from Cristalize. And it looks like they're going to try to get this triple cap domination.
Yeah, Cristalize. You know, he loved that move to the left. You know, he loved bouncing wide left, cutting back in to the right and hitting some shots. I've been watching him do that one all day long. All right. Neutral hill capped up, home hill capped up. Team Queso, we're getting ready for a 3v3 fight between A and C. We got to hold off just for 10 more seconds. I think they'll be able to do so. Cristalize can play around on the flank if he wants to, but he has the healing which he needs. Team Queso, they're gonna go up in this 3rd map, 2-1. And Jacob, how did they get it done?
They just continue to play in towards their advantages, and that's the thing here. Fury One, they have their own advantages at time, but they're just not rotating fast enough. Team Queso, they're playing calm, cool, collected, while maintaining their advantages plays. They're not also making those high risk, high reward plays. They're just going ahead and building off their foundation. You saw it there towards the end of the game. I'm even questioning why they didn't at least get the decap. That's just because they trusted in their setup back-to-back times to eliminate Fury One off of respawn.
Yeah, they knew what was up. They knew that they had their opponent in a situation that they didn't feel like they can overcome, and they were right about it. So Fury One, they've been winning a good amount of team fights throughout these 3 rounds, but they're not getting maximum value out those team fights. Okay, when it comes to them setting up, when it comes down to them being on the same page with who they want to fight, I feel like it's not working out. Now Last Move gets 2 as he's gonna go on aggressive, looking to take down Chavii, and they will be able to do so, but Chavii takes Aimboot to the grave. 3 members down on the side of Team Queso. It's Sleeafer defending his B hill in a 1v1 against Ventry with a Retro Lancer in hand. He's gonna mark him up, wait for his teammates to get there, and they'll show up at the right time to get the cross out here on Ventry. That will be Fury One able to hold C hill and A hill as Team Queso finally got one hill to their name. They're going to be going on offensive soon at C.
Okay, so we know how experienced they can be, knowing it's still very, very early on in the game. 3 players off a respawn. Rotate across the map, pushing Fury 1 off. Getting that decap first. That's going to be step number 1. Downs back to back onto Jaled. He's going to get taken out first, making Queso's job that much easier, but a return down coming in from last move. The numbers from Team Queso are going to allow them to get the revive while maintaining that aggression. A flank from Sleeafer. He's able to get the down onto Ventry. Not able to solidify the elimination just yet, but the reinforcements are there. Team Queso swarming in, getting the eliminations, but Jaled slips through fresh off a respawn. I don't think Team Queso saw that one, but they're going to go ahead and take the 2 hills regardless.
Yeah, they'll take the 2 hills and they'll start relaxing. And you see that they set up on their opponent's home hill and they got problems all the way up here towards top of D hill. And he, with these angles that he has, he's able to help his teammates out a lot. He knows that Jaled has to press up on him. If not, Problems has a free cross on the other end of the map, and it pretty much makes the fight a 4v3. So Jaled doing his best to keep him distracted and maybe even take over this fight. He sees that his teammates are being successful in Problems, trying to keep this round alive for his squad, not allowing them to lose the lead in which they've built up. He'll be trying to out-rotate Jaled in this 1v1. And this has been a great battle that we've watched so far between both these players. Cristalize off the respawn to make this a 2v1, as Jaled has played his position very, very well, creating this opportunity for his teammates to get the home hills up top.
Looked like he was just getting time for Ventry to go over. Kind of miscalculated how close Cristalize was. He does get taken out, but Ventry's not going to waste no time rotating to the other side of the map where he's kind of guessing that push is going to come in. Aimboot goes deep in towards the spawn. They're able to get a trade. Sleeafer for Aimboot. Cristalize is going to go down, trying to go for a flank. Bites off more than he can chew. Teammates aren't there to be the hero this time around, even though they have the retro. 3v2 for Fury 1. Chavii gets distracted trying to retro, and it cost them both their lives. Now Sleeafer is going to get taken out.
Oh,
and
no.
at one point or another place, this was a team wipe, triple cap domination opportunity, and it's all up to Cristalize.
We just had a lead change for Team Queso, and they needed to cap that C hill. Well, I take that back. They really didn't need to. They got the B hill down low. They were only down a few points. They're going to play their lives. Jaled gets taken out. Last move is taken out as well. As we're in the later portions of this game, will any of these hills get decapped in time? No, they will not. No one can get to B. And there's Aimboot walking on the flank to secure the round for Fury 1. Back and forth we go between both of these squads, showing us that they are evenly matched.
And kind of say evenly matched, you kind of see that represented in the scoreline as well. 2-2. Do you think any team is going to be daring enough to put that big weapon down, or they just continue to upgrade their side? Instant shock here. That Boltok being upgraded into retro again and continue to follow suit until they get their other utility, or do you think somebody's going to be brave?
Honestly, I think you go tit for tat with the placement since the game has been so close. Now, if it was one squad that could be brave in this situation, it has to be Fury 1. I think after they get a victory, okay? And so if they can win another round, it'd be a great opportunity to be able to put down that sniper at the Ching side. But it needs for them to be like to win the next round so it can be on their good side. You get what I'm saying? They don't want to do it, win this round, place it down, and it's on their opponent's good side. They're helping them, but that would be not the best move. But as we're here in round number 5, you're gonna see Jaled get first blood on Problems as he's getting pressed by 2 players at the D hill. He'll be able to take that 1v2 with a little bit of cross coming in from Aimboot in the mid map. And now moving for the F hill to get this decap. Fury 1 feeling comfortable.
Map kind of pausing his tracks. 2 players he just ended up respawn. The defense there. Battle going down on the neutral. Ventry's trying to get the angles. Gonna be successful for now. Cristalize is going to be the last one standing, though, as Chavii and last move trade on that side of the map. So the hill is going to continue to go back and forth. Problems gets aggressed on by Jaled. He's having a phenomenal series so far. That's going to go ahead and trade that FL you were speaking about early on. And that's where Team Queso in this round so far. They're a few steps behind, but one big battle, one team fight can simply change that. Boltox from Aimboot's going to stop Sleeafer dead in his tracks. 2 more players dead in his sight, and Aimboot's going to connect with a headshot onto Chavii. This is where Fury 1 could look to get aggressive.
Yeah, and they're feeling comfortable in the situation. That's a headshot from Aimboot. Couldn't get the second shot off. Looking for some support from his teammates, but they're not able to help him just yet. Ultimately, it is Fury 1 with the lead. The last 3 remaining players are looking to push through this tank side, looking to get towards their opponent's home hill, and they will get the down that they need to create the opening. Chavii isn't revived, he's cleaned up. 3v2 with a smoke to the right, and here's a flank from Cristalize as he'll be taking cover, avoiding going down in this moment, still being a part of this fight somehow, some way, as Jaled cleans up the kill on problems. Sleeafer and Team Queso comes off the respawn, and they will continue to contest. Sleeafer on his last down. Jaled ducking and dodging, finally taken out, and Cristalize will be able to break out and get to the D hill. That's going to force a trip cap domination for a brief second as last move gets the D cap. This Team Queso, off that team fight win, they put themselves in a winning position.
Yeah, they did. 2 uncontested hills. They're certainly going to come back. Like you see the win condition at the top half of the screen. Honestly, in about 40 seconds, they should be able to gain the lead even sooner. You see all 4 of them in your minimap. They're gearing up for a push on their home, trying to take it one step at a time, and they have a 4v2 advantage. Chavii taking steps back, having to leave Cristalize dead in his tracks just so he can survive to get the help that's needed as he's trying to find Sleeafer. It has a shock grenade in hand. That has to be a well-placed shock grenade to stop this push from going through. It's going to be placed. That decap is still going to be solidified, so E needs to be under siege. Sleeafer gets 1. Chavii trying to stay alive. Cristalize even spawning up to meet the hero. Jaled goes down. Last move bouncing around. 3 players still here, but nobody is close enough to contest that neutral. Nobody is going to be able to save the day for Fury 1 as Team Queso plays the long game to secure a comeback victory to start the half.
Man, Team Queso, they get it done, and back and forth we go. You know, right there, Fury 1, they tried to get that other decap that he needed across the map, but they just could not make it happen. Hard fought round, but Team Queso, you asked me, they stole that one towards the end. It was that big scrappy team fight on top of their home hill right before that last one that they really was able to push through. They had Cristalize in a great position on the flank, and they were able to get this round back under their control. Now, we talked about nades going down. We will see an incendiary nade on the side of Ventry 1, of Fury 1, and we will see shot grenades on the side of Team Queso.
The kill potential versus area of effect. Try to get the position. If you get the right position, that can lead to an instant kill as well. Sleeafer is going to be the last man, the only man to protect his home hill. But he does have some power. He has both of those weapons, the shot grenade, the retro. Last move is trying to get him to waste it. Shots aren't going to be there. He knows he's not going to be under siege. So this is a lot of time he's buying on this side of the map. You see the capture coming in from Team Queso on the other side of the map, but he has to figure out what the game plan is for the team overall. As 3 players are going in, he gets the down, unable to get the elimination. So great start by Fury 1 for playing the long game.
But now they need a little bit of extra help at this home hill. Ventry with the Retro Lancer is doing a great job holding off, and Incendiary will be able to connect. Jaled, he's forced his player out into the open. He's like, where's my cross at? They finally clean him up. You got some pressure. 1v1s at the D hill and the E hill. As D hill will get decapped, that should be won by Team Queso. His last move will have to retreat. Now, on the flip side, Fury 1 will win the F hill, as you will see that Chavii has to retreat. Both squads trying to play their numbers, not put themselves in a bad position in these 1v2s. And that's great heads-up play by those players in the 1v1 positions, okay? Knowing that the team is playing a game in rotations, and it's too early on for you to give up a big def like that and allow your opponent to go up by 50 or so points at the mid-game.
Yeah, just because you're in that 1v1 spot doesn't mean you're not a part of the team call and strategy. The door, that window of opportunity being opened. Kill after kill as Aimbot is trying to close it. Big elimination onto Sleeafer. Back to back. He gets Chavii as well. Reinforcements are there, so they're going to be able to defend this hill, but they're not going to be able to capture it. I might have spoke too soon. I might have cursed them myself, because both of them will fall in the blink of an eye. Quickly, that hill will be captured back up under Team Queso control. You can see over on the neutral, they should be able to get that decap as well. So what Fury 1 does off of respawn is going to decide if they tie this game up or if they go into a deeper hole against Team Queso.
All right, so Fury 1 has a lot of focus over here towards the D hill. but Aimboot will see that two players are kind of trying to press through from E. Fury 1 will get a flank from Jaled as he's putting some pressure there on that mid cover. Ventry 1 will get the down. Problems is going to get pinched. With these kills being cleaned up quickly, you'll see player 8's going to rotate towards E. Player 7 with the retro defending his home hill. Aimboot wants a little bit of extra help from his teammates saying, yo, come back. Let's get our home back, because if not, you're going to start seeing Team Queso. You see how they're starting to pinch these players at B now? It's going to be an easy 2v2 for them to have a home hill set up in the late game. But we'll see if one hill will be enough for Fury 1.
1-1 battle there. Trying to take control and continue their numbers before Problems can try to make a play. Play Hero. He has to go massive. If they lose the neutral hill, yeah, no. You're right. Fury 1 tie it up.
All right, back and forth we go. Chat, who's going to win 2 rounds in a row first? If we continue with this trend, it's gonna be a Team Queso round win. It's got 18k drop for Problems so far on this map. When it comes down to damage, Sleeafer has 19k to his name. Top damage dealers for Team Queso. We see that the Retro Lancer on one side gets upgraded. So both one team has 2 nades, but one went 60. He went 60 on the retro. That's where it was. Okay.
Like, what am I missing? I
was like, where did it happen?
As common, but I think that's a great play, especially on a map like this where you could lock down a lane, instant kill potential somewhere else. That's something you see very often. You saw former professional MVP player Explosive kind of utilize that strategy time and time again when Exhibit was still in the cycle. Let's see how it plays out. As Cristalize gets taken down in the blink of an eye. If they can continue to put that aggressive, they will have a 3v2 to take advantage of.
They definitely will. We'll see if Team Queso can put those double nades to good use, and Chavii will find a kill towards the back lines. Last move gets it down, and it's going to be Fury 1 backing off this home hill a bit, but they can't back up too far because there's pressure on the other end of the map, and it's Sleeafer calling out to his team to get aggressive. Vamos, play for the win, because they can finally see this opening. They can smell the fear in Fury 1, and they called it out perfectly because Fury 1 won't be able to come off respawn in time in the fight, but it's last move and Jaled who makes the plays that they need to keep their team alive in this round.
Sleeafer almost touched up in that 1v2 scenario. Unfortunately, that up A is the same thing that cost him his life, even though he did get eliminated.
That was a 2v4 that they won.
Exactly. Great play by Fury 1, man. Not going down without a fight. They just need to keep utilizing the pressure that they're able to put on. Team Queso, though, almost doubled up in the score line. Fury 1 are under siege all at the same time. This is a 3v2 for Team Queso if they can play their cards right. Aimboot gets taken down by Cristalize, and so does Ventry. They get cleared out on that side of the map. They are able to at least decap the Team Queso home hill, but they have to do more because theirs is under siege as well.
You got to play both sides as well. And they are getting angled out by multiple members of Team Queso. This is a huge 1v1 from Aimboot, but he chooses to go on the flank. He pulls Chavii away from the hill, and he took a lot of free shots doing it. It was like he wanted to help his teammate out, but that was a scenario where he had to just kind of fight his 1v1 as well, you know, not rush it too much. It's Team Queso looking to rush and end this round one more time as they're finally back on top of the D hill. We'll see if Aimboot and Jaled can go big once again, but I don't know if this is going to be the round. It's Team Queso for the first time winning back-to-back rounds in this Vasgar escalation. Oh, I take that back. They did it with it. I apologize.
They didn't win back-to-back rounds, but I think this is the first time they were able, any team was able to swarm and triple cap dominate a hill like that. I think a lot of the time it's coming down to the wire, it's coming down to big plays, a couple seconds of separation, but that was the first convincing round. It goes on the side of Team Queso, who opted, Blaze, we were kind of questioning it, to upgrade their retro instead of going ahead and upgrading it to a shot grenade. This time around, it does look like shot grenade might make an appearance, but no, a disable going out.
It won't. So they'll go, both squads go for the disables. All right.
Retro versus shock started.
Okay, we'll see who's going to get the most value out of the weapons in which they have. It'll be Aimboot picking up the Retro Lancer for his team. I gotta take that back. It's going to be Ventry picking it up. Sleeafer with the shot grenade for Team Queso, and he's going to take this shot grenade over towards the E hill. actually at the D hill in a 1v2. He couldn't block off the stairs to give himself a clean 1v1. It was a great effort for him, but he'll get taken out in a 2v1. Now, on the other end of the map, Jacob, the Retro Lancer is absolutely bussing, as it's got him 2 downs, not able to get any kills. Jaled on the flank, he turns that corner, got focused by 3 players. Says, you know what, I can't make it happen. Regroups with his teammate at the D hill. It's Aimboot looking to try to go big in a 1v3. He's only able to find 1 kill, and that's Fury1 will hold this home hill setup, and they're going to wait for their teammates to come off the respawn.
I love that thought process there for that second. Try to aggress onto the only player there, but he gets help just in the nick of time to back these players off. 3v2 opportunity for Team K, so they need to get control of their home hill, and they do. Jaled goes down. Last move gets wiped. 3 players are going to be able to continue to push forward. That makes this fight on this side of the map that much more important. They need to solidify that elimination onto Chavii, and they do. So hill for hill already, but there's going to come a point in time where Team Queso is going to have to successfully defend off the Fury1 aggression in order to take this map.
Now, the Fury1 aggression is about to be put into use, trying to get their home hill back at F, and they'll get 1 kill. It sets them up well for the next fight. Not able to get the down on problems, but their job is done. They still have the lead, Jacob. They got the kill in which they need. They don't have to do too much. This is a great time to slow the game down, but they're trying to have that that foresight to say, well, where's our opponent's gonna press next? They spread out and they take 2 2v2 fights, and I like the move by them to do this. It's either you take the 2v2 fights on the defense, or you take your numbers in a 3v2 and you continue to rotate the map. Well, they lost 1 2v2 fight down low, and Team Queso, they're gonna win the second 2v2 fight up top, and they give Fury1 gave Team Queso the exact setup in which they wanted to try to win this round and close it out. But Fury1, with the help of Jaled, once again, they win a big fight to not blow this one away.
Yeah, they have the lead for now, Blaze, but the keyword is for now. Fury1 with a few seconds to have some late game heroics. Otherwise, Team Queso will take the lead. Flash from Aimboot, just trying to deny any cross opportunity. 2v1 going to be successful as they solidify that one. Neutral Hill going to be decapped just in the nick of time to give them about a 1.2 second lead for Fury1. They get the capture as well. F is being decapped. Aimboot, it gets the elimination onto Chavii to hold on to this hill, Blaze, and looking like we could go to a round number 9, barring any miracles from Team Queso, who have this one last chance.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Team Queso trying to get the break. It buys them a few extra seconds. Player 2 needs... Oh, that's it. We're going to round 9. We're going to a round number 9. As neither one of these teams want to give up anything for free. They're not trying to put themselves down in this series. It's just been a constant rebuttal, round after round. And now Team Queso may be in a winning position to take this. All right? Now I will say this, Jacob, you know what the funny thing is that both squads have been winning their bad side every round, I want to say. No.
Because of the retro upgrade, though, because of that retro upgrade and then the double block afterwards, they were able to upgrade their retro and they forced Team Queso, I do believe, to put that weapon center line. And Fury1 loves to fight.
All right, here we go. Our final round. Can Fury1 win on their good side finally, as they'll have this height advantage looking down there towards the tank. And as you talked about, Jacob, with that power weapon going down center line, they're happy where they are. This will probably be our slowest round thus far, as no one wants to give up that first kill, give up those points. But when it comes down to giving up the points, Ventry says, you know what, I could probably cap this without much help. That incendiary is going to come up short. Very creative. It's Team Queso looking for a fight, trying to focus on last move. Aimboot trying to alleviate some of the pressure. Jaled being focused by Chavii. And another member by Team Queso But as we're watching here from Fury one side, they're going to press forward once again, trying to put themselves on aggressive. Cristalize made a blunder on when he thought he can get the snipe. He'll be first blood. Sleeafer pushes down into the mix as well, able to trade out the kill. Sniper's going to be in the hands of Problems, but he's taken out there by Aimboot. And he will and I think that Sniper's on the ground. It's a 2v2 because Sleeafer's still alive on that side of the map.
How did Aimboot end up with the sniper?
He killed Problems. I think Problems got aggressive and he went to B, and Aimboot was secret man and waiting for him. But he connects with the body shot. And you will see him and Last move together at F. There's a player waiting in the spawn. That's going to be Problems. A body shot connected on Chavii. Aimboot may go try to help his teammates, or actually he needs to just, play the sniper. That's a great down. He's looking for the body shot on Cristalize.
Where's Last Move with the call out? How do you Sleeafer get that close? No vocals, no nothing, as Last Move and Fury 1 are melted before our very eyes. And this is a perfect moment for Team Queso. This is the mid portion of the game. If Fury 1 don't get ahead of this right away, they'll have only one good push as a team. And if they're not successful, it'll be desperate push after desperate push.
Also, too, those 2 kills never got cleaned up at the top side of the map at D. Those players just rotated back towards E and regrouped with the team down low at the home hill. So Team Queso just got the lead change in the late game. Now, can they hold on to it? Fury 1, they can feel the pressure. They're trying to get their home hill back. They lose Last Move. Jaled can't take one to the grave. Can player 8 run fast enough? That's 2 from Aimboot. They will get to the E hill in time. This is still winnable for Fury 1.
Cap it, go.
E hill is deep. He gotta go.
Go, bro. I'm over here flipping out. He needs to go.
No, he needs 10 seconds from the decap. Will he get it though? No, bro. No. That's the Team Queso map. That's a Team Queso map. Team Queso, back and forth with both these squads. And in round number 9, they find a way to get it done with teamwork. As we watched them in that 2v2 fight at the end, they created an opening and they didn't let it go. That's Problems, your MVP. 27,000 damage and 29 assists to his name.
34,000 damage though. He's a little bit mad, but he needed to go at the end, Blaze. The only way Fury 1 even survives, this isn't even a win scenario. If the only way Fury 1 prolongs that match is with a double neutralization, he stayed to capture the hill, which meant nothing because you just win the team fight. You capture one hill, you got all the decaps. That's how that round is won by Fury 1. But he waited way too long. He needed a decap, continue going. But in the back of his head, it wasn't as safe as it might seem because that same player that got eliminated early on would have been the only player there to stop him. And I do believe it might have been Chavii. And how Chavii has been playing, who knows? Ventry could have taken it to the wire and possibly escaped with a massive victory. But his inability to read the situation, to know it's kills over hills in that scenario, I'm not going to say it cost him overall, but it definitely didn't help.
It didn't help, right? And so we can also kind of talk about why they were even in that position. And it was Last Move, I think, not watching over Problems, right? It was a 2v2 where Last Move is connecting with some great shots, putting out damages. You got players pressing towards the home hill, and all of a sudden, he gets focused, fired, and stunned in the back, and he's like, whoa, where's my help? And his teammate was just playing a little bit too far back in that engagement, or we could say that the sniper just overstayed his welcome, right? Because he was out in the open on the ledge, taking some high-risk shots. But it's impressive how this one really came down to the wire, all right? The very last team fight. And I don't know how comfortable Team Queso was doing after that one. They're happy that they got the win. They're happy that they're in the lead. But I want to see if they can close this out on the control.
No, that's a very, very good question. How comfortable they're feeling. On the same side, another question is about Fury 1. After such a close battle to come up short, where is your mental state at? Because we've really seen the best of the best when it comes to teams, specifically the Pittsburgh Knights. steps away from winning a map, they crumble, and then the rest of the series, they come out flat. Will Fury 1 have much better mindset to come out in map number 4, a control game type that really suits them to try to tie up the series, or will they come out flat? That's another good question there.
Ooh, Fury 1. They got to come out swinging. Team Queso haven't looked good on these control matches as of late, and we're about to start heading into Ritual soon. Both the squads coming off this game, they're not trying to lose any steam whatsoever. Okay, they're warmed up. This was a bloodbath, a back and forth engagement, and now as we head on to Ritual, we'll see if Fury 1 can get us to that game 5. I'll be excited to start the day off with a game 5. I think we're going to have a lot of game 5 tonight.
And I said, I was talking to Ruth to start the show, kind of preparing her for a long night. Match number 2 and 3 definitely have some of the highest potential. You go to a game number 5, but honestly,
it was all of them.
You cannot guess against this one, even though you'd think Team Queso can close it out sooner. With the way Fury 1 has been playing after a heartbreaking loss yesterday to Team Queso that lost to United, this could be a perfect mixture for a victory for Fury 1.
Yeah, this could be a perfect mixture for them. They know how to take down this Team Queso squad, okay? So they just gonna have to finish it on the tomb execution. They kind of blew it there in the respawn game modes as they let Vasgar get by them. But as we head here, it's game number 4. Can Fury 1 get us to the game 5? We're about to find out. As we're kicking this one off with Team Queso, it's Sleeafer and Cristalize playing hip to hip in the hill. 2 players to their left and 2 players to their right. They got help too as well from both their teammates. So far in this stalemate, who can get the leg up? Chavii's playing around in that flanking. He gets some good angles to force Fury 1 out into the open where Team Queso is looking to capitalize. Jaled finds a double down. There's the cleanup. Chavii cuts back. Couldn't get the revive. Well, he got it. But in the end, both him and his teammate will be joining the rest of the squad at the respawn. Fury 1, they get the twerk bow.
Yeah, I don't really know what Aimboot was doing there. You almost got to concede those fragments, especially after a great initial fight over the hill. You cement yourself with torque bow. At the same time, you can find a sneaky connection just like that onto Jaled, while simultaneously dodging that frag grenade. Go ahead and go 1-up in the advantage. Last move, catching problems out. 4v2 opportunity here for Fury 1. If they're successful, they'll be able to rotate, get the scrap time all simultaneously. Sleeafer and Cristalize will fall as they collect scrap time. They try to rotate on over towards next because Team Queso, they didn't get that quick spawn. It's just Chavii over there. If Fury 1 act quick, they'll have a 3v2 advantage.
It's about them assessing it and acting quick. That 3v2 advantage out the window. Well, unless you can create another one. This time it's created in the side of Fury 1. They got the spawn locked in. They know exactly where their opponent is spawning in front of them. When it comes down to the power weapons, Jaled has a twerk bow, but I don't think he has any more remaining on his back. He has his pistol out now, putting out some damage as these players are trying to press up towards the hill. Aimboot with a great angle. No one's going to be able to drop back and get problems. He knows that he's going to be clear to be more aggressive on his flank with the shotty out. Hitting some solid L triggers from afar. There's the second, and there's the clean up. Team Queso, they're going to have to start getting ready, coming off this respawn, getting geared up, going into it again.
They're falling short. They're always one step behind. It almost seems like they're disconnected while trying to attack these hills, but they have another opportunity on the same hill to try to stop Fury 1 from getting that scrap time. Sleeafer goes down. Jaled just backtracking in his steps. He's finally going to drop. Without sacrifice, though, they were able to clean up the elimination on the other side towards the hill. 24 seconds left on this one. If they win this battle, they can rotate towards next, because you already see Jaled making the rotation, trusting his team to win that fight. So he gets the torque bow. He gets positioned towards next. Everything going right from Fury 1, and Team Queso another slow start on back-to-back controls.
Woo.
Got shut out.
And so during the last control, we saw in the mid game they had a little bit better performance, but they were, I think this map, they're in a bigger hole to start than they were in map number 1. So not looking good for Team Queso. They got 4 bowls in the back pocket of Jaled. He's just going to try to reposition and get some space in this fight. Aimboot's trying to chase down a kill in the spine. He'll have some help from Ventry. And luckily he did have the help from him. It's going to be Team Queso with their backs against the wall. They're getting pressed from two different angles. They're still trying to protect from the spawn side. It's Chavii. This is a huge 1v1, and he comes out on top. He opens himself up for another angle to support for his teammates as they're dropping multiple players in the hill. This Team Queso, if they can take down Jaled, I was going to say they can start collecting on some time, and they will be able to do just that, but they don't get the spawns. They don't keep the spawns that they have.
Like I'm experiencing deja vu right now, Blaze. Map number 1 started 17 to 96 with a lead for Fury 1. This one 93 to 9 with a shutout on hill number 2. It wasn't until hill number 3 where Team Queso were starting to gain traction, just like here. Great flashes to stop that push, or at least delay it for now as Problems continues to go down. Sleeafer pushes forward by himself. Everybody from Team Queso getting dropped like fries. Cristalize gets shot over the top with a unique shot by Jaled as it takes just one attempt from Fury 1 to go ahead and break through and get towards the back line, get that scrap time, and position themselves up towards next. But they have to be careful here because Team Queso, they're the ones that are grouped together, fighting for the position. And those frag grenades, but Sleeafer doesn't check his back. That's Last Move who makes him pay.
All right. Last move. And with the squad to his left, Jacob, he's in a good spot. He needs not do too much. You need the bow to really connect in this position. Oh, Aimboot with a connection from downtown. Jaled takes down Chavii. Last Move takes down Problem. And Ventry takes down Sleeafer. That's a team ace for Team Queso. They've identified the spawns, and now they're set up once again. Aimboot not wasting any time putting out damage with that bow to slow down his opponent. It's a lot of time left in his hill. He misses the top of the cover, but with his pistol out, Cristalize. He'll be going into the respawn. You see a fling coming in from Problems, looking for another kill, trying to make this a 1v1. He can't get it done. And that's a successful defense from Team Queso to continue to collect on time.
Where this one started, it was about a 50-point lead. Fury 1 doing a good job extending that to about 80. Team Queso flashes, not necessarily connecting onto Jaled, not connecting onto anybody as they go ahead and shut down 3 straight players. They're gonna make it 4 in a few seconds here as Problems has nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Fury 1 is going to eclipse that halfway point mark as they bleed this hill dry and already cementing themselves deep into the spawn toward this next hill. Team Queso, I don't know what they need to do, Blaze, but they need to catch up and start making these perfect plays, because right now, as long as you wait for that perfect chance, that perfect opportunity to come, it might never come. It may never come at all, especially when you have Jaled staring down the barrel to do it yet again. Flash is just going to stall him out. Chavii gets one, but Aimboot and Last Move solidify back-to-back eliminations as they get a third. This duo is going off.
Yeah, Team Queso's control is not that good. Okay, it's definitely the squad's weakness, and you know, anyone who they have to play up against, they'll be looking at their control records and saying, okay, well, what maps are Team Queso winning? All right, which is gonna be their best? They're like, okay, well, they're good at Reactor, they're good at Ritual. Make sure we keep both of those maps banned, and we'll have them up against the ropes every single time, because even though Ritual is one of their better control maps, they're getting blown out here by Fury 1, who haven't even won Ritual yet this season in Pro League.
Definitely a surprising turn after what we witnessed yesterday. Elbow Last Move, Aimbot gets what I think maybe a second double kill of the match. Last Move kind of helping there. I wanted to see Aimbot get the ace, but regardless, 200 points have been achieved for Fury 1. You got to think, if Team Queso has not already started to think desperate and make these desperate plays, they're going to feel it even more. Sleeafer goes down. Cristalize trying to get one. Chavii's going to fall as well. They're continuously down a man, still trying to make these hero plays.
Yeah, and just trying to take over. Whew, Ventry will be able to win that battle. And he's just like, you know what? I'm okay with being a villain in this situation, okay? No one is going to be able to rise against me. As Fury 1, they're going to be set up here along the middle portion of the map. They do got a player behind them. Problems. He gives up his position and lets these players know that, hey, I'm behind. Oh, no! That is the play, but why is he still moving forward? This is where you get too greedy, right? Now, he picks up 3, Jacob, but that's also a situation where if you just kind of stay alive in the back lines, you're okay. He's gonna go with his teammates and they're gonna join in the fight. They're still trying to take their numbers and they're trying to move on over there towards over here is what I like to call a skull. As you see all these skulls on the right side of the map in the corner and the flames. They're trying to move over and get these kills, and that was a great play from Team Queso to kind of stay aggressive and keeping their opponent's respawn staggered.
Similar to map number 1, they put themselves so far into a hole. If you catch momentum now, you can bring this one down to the wire. You still have trouble kind of closing this one out as players are going to get dropped. Problems traded for Jaled. Two players kind of winding down. A 1v1 at the top side of the map. Cristalize gets the torque bow, but it's the same pickup that cost him his life against Ventry. And slowly but surely, if you look at your minimap, they're beginning to swarm. Try to sandwich these players in, but Fury 1, they want to find the elimination towards the backside before they go forward, but they lose 2 members towards the top side. This is what Team Queso absolutely needed. Back-to-back team fights, back-to-back team victories, and a quick rotation for the next hill.
So far, it's looking really good for him as they're going to be able to clean up 2 more kills. Great shots coming out from Chavii and his teammates to hunt down those players of Queso. But as we head here into our second rotation of hills, this is still a stinky situation for Fury 1, all right? They're down by 100 points. But they got to start. They got to keep playing at this level that they've been playing at over this last hill. That's a great nade to separate these players and move them forward a bit. No one able to go down, no kills acquired just yet, but still a good amount of damage being put out on the side of Fury, on the side of Team Queso. Fury 1 fighting back. Ooh, and they will win that fight as they will continue collecting on some time. They're gonna try to spread out and get the spawn. We won't see no power weapons for about 50 seconds.
I'm just talking about when you put yourself that much into a lead, it's only a matter of time. You just force, gotta throw yourself at the defense. Something's guaranteed to stick here. Chavii's getting spotted out towards the middle. I don't know if he saw it last move, but it'll be a great mark, kind of giving up that information towards the teammate. Trade for Sleeafer and Aimboot towards the backside. Fury 1 is trying to hold on as long as possible, and it does look like they're going to be successful. They get elimination number 2 and 3 on the Cristalize, and problems. 25-second scrap time. If they bleed this one dry, they'll be about that 275-point mark, just seconds away from closing out this game and bringing us to a game 5.
All right, here we go. Fury 1. The next team fight is across the map. But as we see, nades are coming up in 7 seconds. Bo was spawned up, and so that's why this map got split up as much as it did. But they can contest for these nades. They don't have to give up the nades for free, as they're gonna move up in this 2v2 battle. They used the 5 seconds that they got the bow first very, very well to force back Team Queso. Frag grenades in the hands of Fury 1. They will lose the bow because Jaled got a little bit too aggressive, and Team Queso off the back of Chavii making some big plays. They will counter that play from Fury 1.
Last move doing a good job though. Lost frag grenades and that torque bow you were talking about on the side of Fury 1, but they still have 100+ point lead. Chavii's trying to stay alive here. Doesn't throw that flash grenade, but it might be a great resource in the end. But no, he drops to Ventry. Fury 1 getting aggressive. They lose Aimboot, who goes in by himself. Might have been a little bit over aggressive, but that aggression is the same tool that they're going ahead and using to find this success. Problems trying to go big. He gets dropped. One player left on the hill trying to keep it contested. That's going to be Sleeafer, who gets crossed towards the back by Aimboot. 30 seconds left on the hill, just enough for Fury 1 to bring us to that game number 5.
Can they get it done? They need to win one more team fight. Aimboot backs up to regroup with his teammates. A little bit of extra damage on Cristalize. A little bit on Problems. Trying to season up this victory just right. And with a 180, he'll put a little bit of pepper there on Problems again. And there's the cleanup. Fury 1 with the wipe. 10 more points remaining. They can't win off of this though, Jacob. They got to get to the next hill. It's a race. It's a dash. It's Sleeafer. He'll be able to take down Aimboot and Ventry. Team Queso, they're going to hold for a little bit.
That's fine and dandy, but in order to get the candy, you have to play absolutely perfect on the side of Team Queso. 2 points. It's all Fury 1 need. And in their lowest hill so far, they've scored 3. They have to do worse than they've been playing all game long in order to lose this one, as Jaled gets the torque bow. Doesn't connect with the first one. Knows the player's there. No splash damage is going to connect. He gets tossed out by some flashes. That's just a moment in time here, because Talk about need to play to perfection. Frag grenades getting picked up. No connection. Just splash damage coming out from Jaled, who's now on his last torque bow. 40 seconds up for grabs, and all they need is 2. Sleeafer is going to deny that first flash. Jaled gets taken out. No more torque bow in play, but somehow Ventry strikes over the top. He gets one. Back-to-back E-limbs. It's up to Cristalize. He falls, and 2 seconds click in. Fury 1 take the map, and we go to a game 5.
Oh my, Fury 1, they aren't playing around. They says, you know what? We found your weakness. You can't close out on controls. But can Team Queso close out this series once again in an execution in a game 5? They couldn't do it last night, but can they get it done today? Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're about to find out if Team Queso can get another win on the board, or if Fury 1 make the comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears Pro League. We're going to our first game 5 of the day. And I think this ain't gonna be the last. This team Queso versus Fury 1. And both these teams have showed us how much of a chess match this has been, how evenly matched they have been. And, you know, when it comes down to the moves in which they've made, Jacob, they don't get much, but man, they are fighting.
And I want you to try to take this as a possible positive. I want to add, even though game 5 is not over just yet, so you can go ahead and wait until the end of that game 5 to answer the question. We can go ahead and breathe it all in, try to figure out, you know, who the superstars are, who's not coming up big enough. But do you think this going to a game 5 is more about Team Queso or more about the talented Fury 1?
I'm so happy you said that, because I'm thinking it says more about the talented Fury 1 than it does Team Queso. All right, I think Fury 1 has been better team on respawn for both controls by a mile. I think that Fury 1 in that escalation, they could have won it. It was a 50-50 matchup. And but Team Queso in that map number 2 execution, they were better. They were better, but as we know, at the end of the day, you know, game 5 is execution, man. No matter how you got here, it is what it is. And Fury 1, I don't know if they're the better execution team today. And it's hard, it's sad for me to say that, but it ain't sad. It's just like, hey, you're not. If you're not, you're not. You know, prove me wrong. But they had to win this in 4. They needed the escalation and take this map up against Team Queso. And if they prove me wrong, I'm here for it. But as we know, Team Queso, they're not going to give up without a fight.
Yeah, being able to kind of take each round in, switch the strategy up. And like I said, even if you kind of looks in the mini map and you're like, oh, 3 players are still going, they're doing the same strat every time. No, if you guys are a competitor, you know those little adjustments, looking left instead of right, lancering instead of pistoling, pushing up, intimidating your opponent, not necessarily going ahead and executing the push, but making him second guess, even popping up. It means so much of a difference. And I think the experience of Team Queso has it in the executions. That's why you see in the controls, it goes in way of Fury 1. They're continuously staggering out the deaths. Very, very similar in escalation, but that's round by round game type to where Team Queso can bring themselves in. But after that big loss, that wasn't just a small loss. That was a big loss to Team Queso. It makes me wonder, do they have it in them to pull out another big victory here?
All right, let's see if they got it in them. They lost the map 5 last night. We'll see if they're gonna lose another one or pull this one away. Sleeafer with a flash off the start. He gets the stun, and he dodges the stun in the same movement as well. But some solid back triggers, some solid back A's off his left hand will be able to get him 2 kills. 3v2 situation here. Problems finds a kill mid-map. It's up to Jaled with a snipe in hand. He misses that quick snipe that he needed, and there's the bow to finish off the round. Like Team Queso, they strike first.
Like that torque bow, taking out all escape routes, and the only one he had is telegraphed from a mile away. And I like the way Team Queso, instead of playing that very, very similar strategy a lot of teams run, bull rush towards the middle, they pulled out that old slow meta towards the bottom. They found that advantage and quickly ran it.
Remember your training.
All right, heading into round number 2. Team Queso seems like they will prioritize this torque bow once again. Sleeafer has not slowed down. The flash in hand, a very decisive flash. He'll stun. dodged his opponent's flash in, tucks himself in his corner, goes for a solid wrap shot, knows that he has some good damage on Aimboot, calls for help from Problems, but he just needs the pistol. He comes in with the shotty instead, grabs a meat shield. It was a scary situation for Team Queso, 3v3. Another flank comes in, 1v1 situation, double flank from both teams. Aimboot versus Chavii. Chavii on the offensive. He's not letting up, knowing that he has a lot of damage on Aimboot. But can he play the cover? Ooh, not well enough. Team Queso, they'll go up 2-0.
The damage is currency, like you say, Blaze, and all those little pellets. He was just saving up 20 cents here, 50 cents there. He reached $4.59. He got himself a bag of family-sized hot Cheetos with that victory.
You know, and he didn't allow his opponent to get his health back, and he forced him into a corner where he had to make a decision. Do I fight or do I cross this open terrain? But that's Chavii understand the game. Look, pellet after pellet. And he stopped his opponent from getting his health back. But that was a scary play from Problem there, because he should have answered, right? And I was talking more so about Chavii putting in that damage. But yeah, you got one pellet there, two pellets there.
Oh, beautiful.
Like, yeah, at that point, you can play your left hand. Yeah, you play your left hand really wide, he wins the fight. Sleeafer with another stun. He doesn't connect. His opponent takes a move out of Sleeafer's book, goes for the corner, but they get taken out. They cannot match the intensity of Cristalize and Sleeafer when it comes for the snipe. They cannot outsmart them. And when it comes down to the battle of the power weapons, Team Queso, they just keep coming out victorious.
I think Team Queso hit up the Bass Pro Shop before this one, because they are just baiting him in, hook, line, and sinker, round after round, to that down low fight. Fury One need to say, just forget about it. Go for the sniper, go for that top control, which you get grenades if you do, and try to outplay him towards the long game, because these quick strikes are not doing it. Great expertise. Sleeafer going in, risking it all. He's backed up there this round. This is going to be the difference. Is now Fury One has control, but Problems figures out a way to win that fight. Jaled goes down in the middle as well, and now these players towards the Tok'ra are forced to move forward into their death, and now the last one is surrounded. 4v1 here. Problems with the melee. Team Queso just steamrolling this game. Number 5 up 4-0 over Fury One. I think the young guys have finally met their match.
Man, whatever bait they working with, I'm trying to give you some of that as well, because they are eating. And Fury One walks right into this trap every single round. They can't do anything about it. Team Queso are in control of this series. Probably the quickest 4 rounds I think we've maybe ever saw on this map. And, you know, outside of, you know, you take away the executions, you know, we might be done with round 5 already. All right, you take away that last execution. But man, Jacob, we'll see how Fury One can get this back, and at least get 1 round in the books. But I think you agree with me that it comes down to winning the battle for the power weapon. Sleeafer showing how composed he is at the tip of the fight, knowing that he'll match his opponent in any battle as long as he has that flash grenade. That's a great shot coming out from Jaled and Aimboot. They'll be able to find 2 kills. Problems is taken out. And now Fury One, if Chavii doesn't clutch, they'll get their first round on the board.
I was just trying to get some high ground, a little bit of separation, try to draw somebody out here. But he gets spotted out. They know exactly where he's at, and I wanted to see him go get the frags, please, but maybe he needs to take this 2v1 before it becomes a 3v1.
Oh, he missed that.
Yeah, that was a big miss for Chavii there. He had at least hit the body shot in order to make it a clutch. But at the end of the day, it's Fury One who end the drought. After starting 4 straight round losses, they finally got their first victory. And it comes, they didn't switch up the strategy. They just took it to Sleeafer.
Yeah, they said, you know what? Get it out of our face. Sleeafer, after winning 4 consecutive rounds, he was very confident in that last round, fighting off his left hand on that cover. It didn't work out for him, but, you know, coming into this round, he has right hand again. Look at the confidence with the flash. Whoa, did it bounce back on him? I think it was a bad flash. Oh, no, he just put it in his back pocket. He saved it. He says, nah. I'm going to play for the retake, but that's Ventry on the flank. And Fury One, they're finding a way to take care of this Team Queso squad and being creative with Aimboot and getting some extra pressure with him behind these players of Queso.
Problems making that sneaky play. He's able to catch one. Ventry knew Problems was floating around because that was his man in towards the middle. Last move picks up the sniper. Torquefo being revved. You better watch your head, buddy, especially since you're marked off. Goes for a flashy back A shot with what little options he has. Trying to spot out last move. Hits the body shot. Torquefo still being revved. He misses that one as well. Problem with opportunity after opportunity. Not able to come up clutch as Fury 1 strikes 2 rounds in a row.
Fury 1 slowly coming back into this series. Now we can't get, they got some good rounds, but we can't get too excited for them until they get this one all tied up, because we know one thing is that as soon as Team Queso win one more round, they're at match point. All right, and they're 1 round away from closing this out, and that's just even more pressure on Fury 1's shoulders. So they're in the best time now. They have to. They got some wiggle room, but they need to hit their shots. And Cristalize finds first blood on Aimboot. They're looking for the next. Yeah, see, Sleeafer and Cristalize, they says, hey, you know what? You beat us 2 rounds in a row, but we'll make the proper adjustments. As they're looking for the second kill, they'll get it, Jacob. 4v1 situation. Ventry will find a sniper on the ground. That would have been sick. Enemy mark. Would have been.
Yeah, definitely would have been sick, and it definitely 100% needed. He needed to hit the headshot on that first player simply because how close everyone else is. You miss that shot, you're caught with the sniper out just like that. Even if you get one at the end of the day, that it means absolutely nothing because you need them all. But 5-2. Now that means everything for Team Queso. 1 round away from shutting down Fury 1 and taking it home a series victory. Something they weren't able to do yesterday against the United, but always got to look forward.
Always got to look forward, look ahead, look to that next map, that next matchup, that next fight. Problems, pressing forward. Now I'm going to retreat back. Sleeafer being aggressive, trying to get in there to help Cristalize, but it's a first blood going by way of Fury 1. Here comes some help from Problems. He hopped over the fence. Can he make it in time? He won't be able to. 2 more 1v1s being won by Fury 1. And it's all going to be up to Chavii in that 1v3. He ain't lost the 1v1 for that snipe yet on his map.
Like that. The Torquefo over the top from Jaled can connect by a sliver. 5-3. At that point, it was 5-2, 5-3. There's such a cushion for Team Queso. They can run strat after strat. They can try to throw out some tricks from underneath their sleeve, and they won't have to worry. They can lose the next 2 and go ahead and enter that round number 11 with all the confidence in the world. But
I don't know about all that.
I know they want to close it out. Hey, I mean, if you think you're better players, you got to enter that round number 11 with the confidence regardless.
Yeah, you do. Knowing that that you haven't lost more than 3 rounds in this series thus far, they still should have that confidence 1 into the 11. But Sleeafer with the early down, he'll be stunned. Doesn't connect with a good shot, but Jaled can't take that battle off his left hand, and it was 2 downs up there. Ventry can't make it back in time, and Team Queso, with just Chavii left in a 1v1, they'll win the map. Team Queso in the game 5, they get it done. And they're going to come out with another victory in the Pro League.
And more times than not, it just seemed like it was problem in the middle. Obviously, we saw that fight round after round with Sleeafer kind of trading off towards that top against Jaled. But it's in that middle that mattered. I think it was Problems versus Ventry. I think Problems was playing that bigger picture, trying to affect that fight towards the Torquefo, going ahead and hopping over the cover and getting there immediately. Ventry, on the other hand, I felt like he was wasting a lot of time in that 1v1. He was too tunnel vision ahead of him, taking that wide route in towards the middle, which allows for Problems to hop over that fence and get there immediately, just like I was saying. I think Ventry needs to go ahead and go back to the drawing board in that scenario and figure out how to look at it as more of a bigger picture. But overall, you still got to give your hat out, for at least tip it to Fury 1, putting on one heck of a show. But even better to Team Queso, after a loss to United, they come out today, and in game 5 they are victorious.
So it shows we know what their win condition is. Okay, it's execution and escalations, and I agree with what you said there. In Problems 1v1 match against Ventry in the middle, we saw him putting a lot more pressure on the flanks than Ventry. Okay, he was very creative dictating that fight, and Ventry was really reactionary to what he was doing. Chavii, he held off his sniper lane with his shot grenade. he was okay in that battle on the top end of the map, and his matchup against Jaled. No issues there whatsoever. And then you also had Sleeafer and Cristalize always forcing 2v2. And they're able to force the 2v2 because Problems and Problems is not going to put himself in a position to die easily. You're going to have to cross the spawn and kill him, as well as Chavii with that shot grenade. So you do a great job playing defense in the middle, but also Problems in his 1v1 lane when he sees that he has a cleared matchup. He does a great job forcing that player to have to play to him. And, you know, in execution is the game of speed. And if you let him make the first move, that's a flank at your teammates at Torque Bow. That's a flank in Chavii's lane at the 1v1 and snipe. And, you know, that's extra rounds going on the board for Team Queso.
Bigger picture, the long con, we talked about how experienced Team Queso is. And you got to think, after going the distance with E United, you got to have a chip on your shoulder. You're going to come out today swinging. But Fury 1, like I said, I don't know who to give the props to. The victorious Team Queso or Fury 1, who's every single week, every single moment, they just come out better and better. And I can only expect next split to be even more amazing for this roster.
It should be. You know, if you want to talk about a highlight player for the day, I think Last Move had a great performance in this series. And I think that Jaled did really well. And he consistently does well. But he needed to take over in that 1v1 lane against Chavii and get that snipe because his teammates kept losing the bow battle. So he had to try to take over a little bit sooner there. But ultimately, it's a team loss for Fury 1. And we'll see how they bounce back. Congratulations for Team Queso, adding another win to the tally as they continue to get better. Now, that's going to do it for me and Jacob. Coming up next, it's a series you don't want to miss, all right? And I mean that. I truly do. It's Rebel coming up against the Pioneers. Don't miss out, because when it comes down to these two teams, they want to be the best, and they got a little grudge to settle. Watch out.